Hello and welcome to my video. In this video, I'll be going over my Inktober days 1 through 7. Now, I don't typically work with inks. I mainly use acrylic, but I love experimenting with different kinds of mediums, and I thought since we received some inks in one of my arts, well, my only art subscription, that I could, experiment a little bit and join this challenge and have some fun and see if I can get better with inks and learn how to control it by the end of the month. In this time lapse, I'm working on day 1, and I believe the prompt for this day was Belle. The inspiration from this came from the Melanie Martinez K through 12 album. When they first went into the school, there was a quote that said, "When the bell rings, every student should be in their assigned seats." And my school was very much like that when I was going to school. So yeah, that's where that inspiration came from, because I just thought of Belle, and at the time I was really into the music video. So okay, moving on. I first started by drawing a few sketches and picking the sketch that I was happiest with. Once I picked the sketch, I traced it onto the yupo paper and I started to lay down the marker, which was actually one of the first things that I learned this week when it comes to handling inks. Now, I'm not sure if it's a me thing or if it's an alcohol ink thing, but I've noticed that when I lay the marker down, once I pick the alcohol ink color, if I don't lay that color down with extreme precision, it tends to make the marker bleed, thus making the color really muddy. And this actually happened for a few of these, so I'm probably not going to be outlining with the fine markers anymore for the rest of Inktober, but I mean, it's kind of early, who knows, maybe I'll figure another way out. So for the hair, since we didn't receive a black ink, I actually used the Winsor Newton ink. And here I was really wishing that I left some of those lines in, because I kind of ended up just blocking it all in with black and then going over and making some extra little defined black lines. Then I mixed some lemon and cherry red together to get this kind of peach tone, and then I used cherry red to define some of the shadows on her face. And I'm not sure if it comes up, but at this point it started to get just a little bit muddy every time that I touched the outline of the face or touched like the lips or the nose. It might show up, but I'm not sure how clearly you're going to be able to see it. And then from this point on, I decided to move on to the clothing, and I believed I used a combination of turquoise and Caribbean to fill in the coloring for her clothes. I used then the black to mix a little bit with the turquoise color to make kind of a shade, wow, so that I can make kind of a shadow so that it kind of looks more like clothes. But again, since I'm not used to this medium, it was a little bit tricky to get the illusion or the effect that I wanted, so I'm gonna make sure to keep practicing that too. And then when I moved on to the inside part of her shirt, I made sure to have enough alcohol on my brush to kind of lighten that color way more than it would be if I had just put it down without diluting it with alcohol, which ended up actually working out. I liked the way that it mixed. Then I mixed a little bit of that black with cherry red and just a little bit of Caribbean so that it could make this kind of burgundy-ish color, which was what I really wanted to go for her lips. Then I used that aqua green to make that tint shade in her glasses. Now this is the part that I really kind of started messing up on. I tried to give her kind of a cat-like wing shape to her eye, but the ink was still wet with alcohol, so it started to kind of spider out on its own, and I lost the definition in her eyes. So I kind of just wanted to give up at this point, but you know what, this is about practicing. It was only day 1, so I was just gonna go with the flow and let it do its own thing. And instead of trying to correct it, I was just gonna do a better job tomorrow. And that was day 1 for Belle. Moving on to day 2, Mindless, which was also inspired by Melanie Martinez, her song OJ. I was this close to a Melanie Martinez Inktober, but day 3 changes, I promise. In this one, I started off with a pencil sketch and then I tried to erase it, but that did not work. Yupo paper should not be erased. And I wished honestly that I just left it as a regular outline and didn't color it in, because it became a disaster, as you will see. It just got so muddy and I lost the definition in the hair yet again. Then I move on to day 2, which was bait. And I went on Pexels and found a cute little cheese mousetrap thing, so I decided to use that one. This one I also tried to erase the sketch that I did underneath, but that does not work. Then I moved on to day 3, which I tried to do frozen, and then as you can see I erased it and I just freehanded a snowflake because it was not working out. And this is a close-up of the bait. As you can see some of the eraser markings. I'm gonna try to get better at that. That's what happened with that. And then I'm gonna move on to a close-up of the snowflake, which is not even because obviously I freehanded it. I was hoping that you'd be able to see the shimmers on the paper, which you kind of do. I need to figure out a way to show that awesome glitter thing that came with our pack because it's so pretty. Please don't mind my nails. Now this next one is probably my best one. I ended up ditching the erasers, I ditched the pencils, and I just used the fine marker to draw it out, and then I used the ink to kind of go over everything a little bit more darker and to give a little bit more shade. It's just a simple rocks stacked for day 4, which was built. Made a little seascape and just used the lemon lightly so that it can kind of represent a little bit of a sun brightness going on in the back there. And then I move on to failure. I tried to do a good boy for day 6 Husky and it just came out weird. I can't do it without a sketch. I can't freehand a dog, so instead I just did an eye. And then for day 7 Enchantment I did the same thing. I just freehanded some eyes and used a little bit of shadowing with colors. So what I've learned during this first week is do not use pencils on Yupo paper, do not use erasers on Yupo paper, try to freehand what I can or just trace it. And colors for alcohol inks might be better as just accent colors. I think what I'm going to do is stick to black and white, and then once I get comfortable with colors then I could start adding on the colors. But for right now I think I'm gonna stick to just black and white with some accent colors, but who knows, things can change in week 2. I'm also gonna include a small little clip of things that I'm currently working on, so if you want to stick around for that, it'll probably be a quick 10 seconds of stuff that I'm working on. If not, thank you so much for watching this video. Leave me a thumbs up, let me know what day was the most challenging for you so far. I think Husky was definitely the most challenging day for me this week, and my favorite one that I did was built, and I think that was because it wasn't a total failure. Thanks for joining me. This is what I'm still currently working on. I'm not going to zoom out all the way because I'm including a time-lapse video on this. So here's some stuff that I'm working on. I'm currently finishing a piece that I started, 3 pieces of Invader Zim. This is my dib one. I'll show Invader Zim soon. This is a little portrait of a cute little baby at her first year. This is another portrait. This is in the very early stages. I think this is like 1-2 layers down maybe. So working on this one, and this one's supposed to be a Rocco's Modern Life one. And I got some other ones too. And here's some other finished stuff that I worked on. The Ladybug, Machu Picchu. Yeah, didn't need to show that one. And this was Invader Zim. And I also did a little Bob Ross one. So I typically use acrylics as my medium, but I do want to start practicing with oil paints. Thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful morning, evening, night, whatever. Thanks for stopping by. Bye bye.